What if I told you that just 3 minutes a day could help you feel 30 years younger without stepping foot in a gym, popping pills, or chasing the latest miracle cure? Sounds too simple, right? But stay with me, because what I'm about to share might just be the most powerful shift you can make after 50. If your knees feel creaky, if your balance seems a little off, or if something as ordinary as standing up from a chair makes you pause and take a breath, you're not alone. I've been there too, so have most of my friends over 50. But here's the secret no one tells you. It's not your age that's stealing your strength. It's the quiet drift away from the small, everyday habits that once kept your body feeling alive. See, most people believe that getting older means getting slower, stiffer, weaker. But that's only half the story. You don't lose vitality just because time passes. You lose it when you stop doing the things that tell your body, we're still in this, we're still going. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 simple habits. Each takes less than 3 minutes. They're not complicated, they're not flashy, but they work. I've used these exact practices to feel 50 again at age 84. And the best part? You don't need a gym, special equipment, or a personal trainer. Just a little commitment and a quiet corner to begin. So stay with me until the end, because habit number 5 is the one that gets ignored the most. But it's also the one that can change how you feel every single day. Now let's begin with the first one. It's probably the simplest of them all, and yet it might be the most important. Ever have one of those mornings where just getting out of bed feels like a challenge? Like your body's moving through molasses, knees stiff, back tight, ankles barely bending, and everything in you saying, not yet. That's not just age talking. That's your body trying to get your attention. Here's the truth. When we sleep, our bodies go into a kind of idle mode. Our muscles relax, our joints rest, and the fluid that keeps everything moving, called synovial fluid, gets a little thicker, a little stickier. Think of it like cold maple syrup. If you try to move too quickly without warming it up first, it's going to feel sluggish. And for a lot of people, that first step out of bed becomes the hardest one of the day. That's why I always take 3 minutes, right at the edge of my bed, before doing anything else. No fancy setup, no workout clothes. Just me sitting up, giving my body a little wake-up call. I start by rotating my ankles, slow, gentle circles, 10 in each direction. Then I move up to my knees, doing small circles to get those hinges loosened. Up. I gently twist my torso side to side, letting my spine stretch. Then a few shoulder rolls to shake off the tension. And finally, I slowly turn my neck from left to right. That's it, 3 minutes. And you'd be surprised how big of a difference that makes. Because what these movements really do is tell your body, we're not frozen, we're in motion. Let's go. It's like oiling the engine before starting the car. It helps reduce that rusty, grinding feeling. You feel more grounded, more balanced, and surprisingly, it clears your mind too. You start your day already connected to yourself, to your body, to your sense of control. I remember Edward, 81. Proud, independent, used to be a teacher. Before he tried this, he needed help just to swing his legs out of bed. 2 weeks after starting this joint activation routine, he wasn't just moving on his own. He was up before his wife, flipping pancakes and asking her how she liked her eggs. That's what 3 mindful minutes can give you. Not just movement, but momentum. And here's the thing, we're not aiming for perfect form. You don't need to touch your toes or break a sweat. This is about staying steady, staying safe, preserving your freedom. Because when you move confidently, you reduce the risk of slips, falls, and setbacks that can steal your independence faster than you realize. Your body wasn't designed to be idle. It was designed to move, and it doesn't fall apart from use. It falls apart from being ignored. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone or turn on the TV, give yourself those 3 minutes. Move slowly, breathe deeply, and remind your body that you're still the one in charge, because how you start your morning, that's how you shape your day. What if I told you there's a way to feel more awake, alert, and energized in the morning without a drop of coffee, and all it takes is less than 3 minutes? I know it sounds too easy, too ordinary, but sometimes the simplest things carry the most power, especially when we've spent years overlooking them. Most of us wake up and jump right into our day. Our thoughts race, our muscles tighten, and before we even leave the bedroom, we're already in go mode. That little bit of tension in your shoulders, the tight chest, that mental haze that doesn't clear up even after breakfast, that's not just aging or stress. That's your breath telling you it needs attention. See, the way you breathe in those first few minutes can either set you up for calm, clarity, and focus, or leave you stuck in a low-grade fog all day long. And the tough part is, most of us over 50 have fallen into the habit of shallow breathing without even realizing it. It becomes automatic, but automatic doesn't always mean right. Shallow breaths trick your body into thinking it's under stress. Your heart beats faster, your mind stays jumpy, you're stuck in a loop that tells your nervous system to stay on guard. And that kind of start to your day, it wears you down fast, but there's a reset button built into your body, and it's free. You don't need incense or yoga music or fancy meditation apps. You just need a quiet moment and your own breath. Here's how I do it. I sit up tall, either in bed or in a chair, and I close my eyes. Then I inhale slowly through my nose to a count of 4. I hold that breath, not with tension, just a gentle pause for another 4 seconds. Then I exhale through my mouth, slow and steady, for a count of 6. And I do that 8 to 10 times. That's it. 3 minutes. Give or take. But the shift it creates is real. When you breathe this way, your body gets flooded with oxygen. Your brain starts firing more clearly. Your heart rate steadies, your muscles start to relax, and most of all, you start the day in control of your mind, your energy, your attitude. I had a friend, June, 76 years old. She used to tell me her mornings felt like she was pushing through a fog, always on edge, always behind. She tried this breathing reset just once a day in the morning. After a few days, she said, "I feel more alive before breakfast than I used to after 3 cups of coffee." And I believed her, because I've felt that shift too. It's not magic, it's not a gimmick, it's your own body remembering what it feels like to breathe with purpose. The truth is, when you take charge of your breath, everything else starts falling into place. Your energy, your mood, your presence with the people around you, it all improves. And all you did was pause and breathe. So tomorrow morning, before the emails, before the news, before the world gets loud, give yourself those 3 minutes. Let your breath be the first thing you trust, not caffeine. Because you don't have to feel wired to feel awake. You just have to give your body what it's been craving all along: oxygen, attention, and a moment of calm. That's how you start the day, steady, clear, and ready, every single time. What if the sluggishness you feel in the morning, those stiff joints, that foggy head, the dragging energy, wasn't actually because you're getting older, but because your body's just thirsty? See, most folks think hydration is all about drinking enough water during the day. And yes, that matters. But what really gets overlooked is when you hydrate. The timing can make or break how you feel in those first waking hours. Think about it. You've just gone 6, 7, maybe even 8 hours without a sip of water. Your body's been hard at work while you slept, regulating hormones, repairing tissue, processing waste. And yet, when morning rolls around, instead of reaching for water to refill the tank, what's the first thing we grab? A hot cup of coffee. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a coffee lover too. But here's the thing, putting caffeine into a system that's already running on empty is like trying to drive your car with no oil and wondering why the engine's sputtering. You don't need to quit coffee, but you do need to give your body what it's asking for first: water. Here's what I do, and it's made a world of difference. As soon as I swing my legs out of bed and stand up, I drink a tall glass of room temperature water, about 12 to 16 ounces. Some mornings I'll add a slice of lemon for a bit of flavor and a gentle detox effect. Other times, just a pinch of sea salt for natural minerals. Then I let my body settle with that water for 5 minutes before I brew my coffee or make breakfast. It might sound too simple to matter, but this one shift can unlock a big change. That first glass of water acts like a wake-up call for your whole system. Your joints feel less creaky, your digestion kicks in, your brain, which is mostly water to begin with, suddenly feels sharper. And your energy? It starts to rise naturally. I'll give you a real example. My friend Mike, 67, retired firefighter, used to wake up every morning with a heavy head and sore body. He figured it was just part of getting older. But after I told him to try drinking water right when he got up, no delay, he gave it a go. A week later, he called me and said, "I don't know what kind of magic that is, but it's like someone jump-started my engine." That's how fast your body responds when you give it what it needs, before it has to beg for it. You don't need a new diet, a new supplement, or some trendy health hack. You just need to respect the basics. And hydrating first thing, that's the ultimate sign of self-respect. It's saying to your body, you matter, let's start the day right. So tomorrow morning, before you grab that mug, grab a glass. Give your body the refreshment it's craving. Because when you hydrate, first your whole day flows better. It's that simple and that powerful. What if I told you that how you feel emotionally, right when you wake up, can have just as much impact on your energy, your physical health, and even your aging process as what you eat or how much you move? It's true. We spend so much time focused on stretching our bodies, fueling with the right foods and staying active, which are all great, don't get me wrong. But most of us forget to check in with the one thing we carry into every single moment, our emotional state. And I get it, especially for men of a certain age. If you're over 50, chances are no one ever taught you to pause and ask, how am I really feeling? In fact, most of us were raised on the idea that emotions were something to push down or power through. Be tough. Keep going. Don't dwell. That kind of thinking may have helped us survive the hard times, but it hasn't always helped us thrive. Because the truth is, bottling things up doesn't make you stronger. It just builds pressure. You ever walk into a room and immediately feel weighed down, like something's off but you can't quite name it? That's emotional weight. And when we carry stress, anger, loneliness, or even unspoken grief, it doesn't just stay in our minds. It settles into our bodies. It shows up in our posture. It tightens our breathing. It makes our hearts race a little faster and our interactions with others a little shorter. So, here's what I started doing, and it's made a world of difference. Every morning, just for a couple minutes, I sit quietly. No phone, no TV, no news. I just sit and breathe. Then I ask myself a simple question. What am I carrying right now? Whatever answer comes up, whether it's tension, peace, worry, excitement, I name it. I don't try to fix it, I don't fight it, I just notice it. And here's the magic in that. When you name it, you don't get stuck in it. You take ownership, and once you own it, you get to decide how you want to carry it, or if you want to carry it at all. Some mornings I write it down, some mornings I say it out loud. Other days I just take a deep breath and let it go. But that act of tuning in, even briefly, creates space inside me. Space to move through the day with a little more clarity, a little more patience, and a lot more connection to myself and to the people I care about. I'll never forget Frank, 72, Army vet, no-nonsense kind of guy. He once told me, I haven't really felt much since the early 90s, but after trying this emotional check-in for just a week, he called me and said, I didn't realize how much I'd been carrying until I finally stopped to look. That moment changed everything for him, because the truth is, emotional clutter is just like the junk we pile up in our homes. It doesn't seem like much at first, but over time, it takes up space. Space we could be using to feel joy, peace, energy, and when we clear that out, even just a little bit each morning, everything else starts to flow more freely. So tomorrow, after you stretch, after you breathe, after you drink your water, take a quiet minute. Ask yourself, how am I really? You might be surprised by what you find, and even more surprised by how much lighter, clearer, and more alive you feel just by listening. Not fixing, not judging, just listening. That's how emotional strength starts, with presence, with awareness, with the willingness to be honest with yourself, even for a minute. And for something so small, it has a way of creating the kind of change that lasts. This is the habit that ties everything together, and yet it's often the one people overlook, because somewhere along the way we started thinking movement had to mean breaking a sweat, pushing our limits, or doing something fancy at the gym. But what if I told you that just 3 minutes of deliberate, intentional movement each morning could do more for your health, your confidence, and your longevity than any supplement ever could? Because here's the truth, movement isn't about chasing six-pack abs or trying to look like you did in your 30s. It's not about performance, it's about freedom, the freedom to bend down and tie your shoes without holding your breath. The freedom to walk across a parking lot without worrying about your knees. The freedom to hug your grandkids, carry a basket of laundry, get in and out of the car, or dance a little in your kitchen just because your favorite song came on. Purposeful movement is a signal. Every time you move your body with intention, you're sending a message to your muscles, your bones, your brain that says, we're still going, we're still in this, I'm not giving up on you. And here's the best part, you don't need a gym membership, you don't need a treadmill or fancy gear or even a big chunk of time. You just need your body, a little space, and a few focused minutes. That could be as simple as marching in place for 60 seconds to get your blood flowing. Maybe you do a few gentle squats down to a chair, or raise your arms and roll your shoulders with control. You could walk the hallway, swing your arms as you go, or, my personal favorite, put on some old Motown or classic rock and just move your body to the rhythm. 2 or 3 minutes is all it takes to change your entire outlook. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to look like a workout video. It just needs to be real and consistent. I'll never forget Darlene. She was 69 when she decided to try this. She started each morning by simply pacing slowly across her living room, taking deliberate steps, focusing on her breath. At first, she said it felt silly, but after a few weeks, she looked me in the eye and said, "My knees don't scare me anymore, and I feel like I'm actually living inside my own body again." That one sentence stuck with me, because that's exactly what movement does. It brings you back to yourself. When you move with purpose, your brain lights up, your heart lifts, your blood flows. You stop waiting for motivation to arrive, and you start generating it from within. You stop telling yourself, maybe later, and start realizing, I've got what I need right now. So tomorrow morning, after you've taken care of your joints, after you've breathed, hydrated, and checked in with how you're feeling, give yourself those last 3 minutes. March, step, swing your arms, stretch toward the ceiling, twist gently, or just sway in place with your eyes closed. Breathing and moving like someone who still belongs in this world. Because you do. You're not done, not even close, and your body deserves to hear that message every single day. Movement isn't about pushing hard, it's about showing up, and when you do, even for just 3 minutes, it reminds your body and your spirit that you're still here and you're still in motion. So there you have it, 5 habits, each one so small you could almost dismiss it. Just 3 minutes or less. No gym memberships, no pills, no over-the-top promises, just real simple actions that gently reconnect you with your body, your breath, your emotions, and your sense of control. Let's take a second to walk it back through. You started with joint activation, waking up the parts of your body that tend to stiffen overnight so you don't just get out of bed. You step into your day steady and strong. Then you breathed, slow and deep, to tell your nervous system, "Hey, we're okay. We've got this." And that simple act gave you calm, focus, and energy without a single drop of caffeine. You drank water before anything else to nourish your cells, flush out the fog, and let your body know it was being cared for. You checked in with how you were feeling, not to judge, but to understand, to create space for the kind of clarity that turns reactive days into mindful ones. And finally you moved, not to burn calories or prove anything, but to remind yourself that you are still capable, still active, and still here. These aren't just health tips. These are 5 daily reminders that say, I still have life to live, and I'm going to show up for it. And the truth, it doesn't matter if you're 55, 65, or pushing 90. You're not too late. You're right on time. Start with 3 minutes. Just one habit. Do it tomorrow morning, then do it again the next day. Because your body and your life are still worth showing up for. You've still got time. Let's make it count.